Alrighty, so again, my name is Kate. Today we're going to be going over Nurture Your Database for Designs. So primarily we're going to be covering social designs. We're going to take a look at email signature and creating a social post within Command. So I'd just like to point out the training calendar, but today we are going to jump into Command and get started. So if you don't know the website for Command, to access that, you're going to go to agent.kw.com. I did go ahead and drop that in the chat box. So if you need help finding that, you can find it in the chat box. Then we're going to go ahead and log in using our KW username and password. So for this, keep in mind your username is not case sensitive. So if you have a capital letter and you didn't put it, it's not going to prevent you from logging in. However, your password is case sensitive. So you do want to make sure that is correct as you're typing it in. You can use the little eyeball, excuse me, to check your password. If you're getting an error that says incorrect, we do recommend taking a look at that. Also, if you've copied and pasted, sometimes you might get a space before or after your password, and those will also prevent you from logging in. So make sure those are removed, but we'll go ahead and sign in. Now, once we're signed in, again, we're going to focus on designs today. So we're going to hover over to the designs. It kind of looks like a paintbrush on a piece of paper or a canvas, whatever you want to call it. If you don't know which one it is by looking on these, you can hover over them, or you can expand that by clicking the red and white KW at the top, and that will give you each of the different applets names. So we're going to jump into designs. All right. Now, once we're in designs, there's a couple of ways that we can get started, but we're going to look at both of them so that you know, because there's a couple of different options when you're doing this. So for creating a design, generally you would hit create, and then you would pick the different kind of design that you would like to create. You can also do import design. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that first. When you click import design, we're going to go ahead and let it finish loading. But once it's loaded, you will notice that it has some different pieces up here. So you have templates, images, my projects, and assets. So for today, first thing we're going to look at is we're going to take a look at assets. So your assets are going to be different pieces of text, logos, images, etc., that will stay in your designs so that you can easily pull them into a different design. So you'll have the Keller Williams Realty assets, and you'll also have my assets. So when taking a look at the Keller Williams, you'll notice that they have specific fonts and colors that are going to remain in here for you to use. These cannot be edited. They are put in here by KW for you to utilize. You also have images. Now they have a ton of stock images that you can use based on different categories. So you have market experts, miscellaneous, if you're looking for holiday images to make a post, house exteriors and interiors. I'm sorry, exteriors is down here. App images, lifestyle at home, activities, neighborhoods, and then again, the exteriors. So these will give you various different stock images that you can use when creating different types of designs in Command. You'll also have their assets as text. Now, their assets for text is simply their ownership statement. Each office is independently owned and operated. Generally, that would be on most of the marketing that you pull. Logos. Those are going to be the Keller Williams International logos. So you'll see that they have events. So you'll see that they have Red Day in here. For luxury, that's the luxury branding logos. Miscellaneous, those are going to be your NARS and Equal Housing Opportunity. You have labs. And then you also have the generic KW logos. Now with that being said, these are not Market Center specific. So when we get to my assets down here, I will show you how to find your Market Center specific logos so that you can pull those in for your marketing pieces. Those are all of the various logo folders that they have in here. So then they have elements. Now elements are kind of going to be like symbols. So for this, they have, you know, an email symbol, website, location, phone, mobile, those kind of things that you can pull in and use for your designs. If they had videos, they would be here. And if I think they have a couple of files. So they have the style guide and the design addendum in here for you to access and use if you need to. Now we'll take a look at the My Assets. So My Assets are assets that you can add for yourself. Again, that makes them easier for you to pull in for your specific marketing piece. So if you were to have specific branding colors or fonts that you like to use, whether you're on a team or you've just branded yourself as an individual, you can create those here so that you can easily pull those and use those every time. Images. We do recommend going ahead and putting your headshot in here if you haven't already. I'm going to show you how to do that real quick by hitting upload. Now I'm going to grab this from my computer and I'm going to take a look at this one here, and we're just going to pull in Scott's photo into My Assets. So now if I were creating a marketing piece, I can easily pull in Scott's photo without having to upload it every time. Next is going to be text. So this one is super important because it makes it really easy for you to grab your website URL, your branded app link, your office address or license number, all of those various things. You can create those as text assets so that you don't have to type them out every single time you need to use them. Just makes it a little bit easier for you. This is where you would then upload your Market Center specific logos. So as you can see, I have a few different ones in here. I'll show you real quick how we find those and download them to our computer to then upload. So to do that, we're going to take a look at KW Connect. Now, once that page loads, we're going to go ahead and take a look at resources and go down to marketing. Now, once we're in marketing, you'll notice the very top option is logos and branding. So we're going to go ahead and select that one. And once we've selected that, you can scroll down. Again, it's going to provide the style guide, which was accessible through the Assets by Keller Williams. But you can also find that here, as well as some of their other information. You can again find their other KW generic logos, some different variations by coming down here. And then for your Market Center specific logo, you'll stop right here and you'll notice it says Market Center number or Market Center name. Every office has a number or name that you can search by. So for this one, I'm just going to put in a random number. We're going to do 22. And then I can find my Market Center specific logo. So I said 22. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that one. That's going to be the Woodlands. Now I can preview that to make sure it's the correct logo, and it will go ahead and show me a brief image of that logo. And then I can go ahead and hit the download option. Now, once I download that, it's going to download the entire folder for me to access. We're just going to move this over. We will extract that. And once that has extracted, I will just find the new folder with those logos in it. And once I've opened that folder, you'll notice that I have a couple of folders within there. We're going to take a look at the top two, so black and white, as well as the CMYK. Black and white is going to give me different variations of the black and white logo for my Market Center. So you'll notice that there is one with a white background. There's also these that have a transparent background, meaning if I were to put those onto a black background, I could see them very clearly. Whereas if I was using one like this, I may not be able to see it quite as clearly. So that is where those are. And then if we were to go back and check out the other one, these are going to be your color options for the logo. Now, Your market center may not have all of the same options. Some market centers only have a few, but generally they have kind of the same ones. So they have, again, the transparent background as well, or I'm sorry, this is not transparent, but the one with the square as well as the transparent backgrounds. Now, once I have those downloaded onto my computer, I can close that out and go back to my assets. And I can create a folder if I want them in a separate folder. That will create the folder up here. And then I can go ahead. I apologize for not being able to speak today. And I can download those from my folder. Now, I could upload all 4 of them, or I can add the other colors as well before I finish. I'm just going to grab them all. And then I have a total of 7, and I'm going to go ahead and upload. Now, real quick, I'm just going to take a peek at the chat because it looks like there's a couple of questions. How did I get to the page from command? If you're referring to this page here for the logos, you do want to go to KW Connect for that. If you missed that, I can go back at the end of the class and go over that again, or you can check out the recording, whatever is easiest for you. From KW Connect, you should be able to find resources at the top if you're on KW Connect. So this is different from the Connect within command. So if you're on this Connect, this is not the correct one. You would want to actually go to kwconnect.com to access those. All recordings are found on our YouTube channel. I will also drop that in the chat for you guys so you have it. They are generally uploaded within 24 hours to our YouTube channel. And we're gonna keep going. So I'll drop that in and then we will continue. All right, so now that we have our logos in there, again, I added those to a separate folder. Totally up to you how you do that. If you're in one market center, you may just want them right here. But if you are an expansion agent in multiple market centers, it may benefit you to have folders. Elements, again, this is if you have specific icons or symbols that you may want to utilize often. Say you have your own website, email, phone one that you want to use, you can do that. Videos, if you have any videos that you like to use often, you can use those here. Same for PDFs that you may want to include in those. That is our assets section. So we're going to actually go back to command. Close out this tab here. We're going to go back to command and back to into designs so that we can actually create the design now that we've checked our assets. Yes, thank you, Tiffany. You can also email us at support@scholarlymarketing.com. We're happy to help with anything you might need. All right, so from here, you can create a design in that import design section that we were in. You can also just hit create. We're going to go ahead and go that route. For today's class, we're going to focus on social graphics. You can, however, check out our classes on our YouTube for the other different types of designs that you can create. And if we have time today, we'll try to check out the video as well. So we're going to click social. And from there, you're going to notice it actually brought me back into it looks like they may have done an update because it used to do something different. That's okay. It looks like it brought me back into where I was when I hit import design, and that's totally fine. You can decide then if you want to start from scratch for a design, choose from a template if you want to fully edit a PDF that you've uploaded, or if you're trying to just remove a background. If you want to choose template, you can go ahead and click that. You can also click the templates option in the top left corner. Now from there, there's a ton of different categories that will allow you to find specific designs already created for that. However, you can manipulate these designs to use them for whatever you want. So if you like a coming soon one and want to use it for an open house, by all means, edit that to make it an open house design. This is for you to use however you see fit for your specific designs you're looking for. But for today's class, we are going to take a look at our business basics. So when we're in business basics, you're going to notice that you have some simple, again, business basic designs. So business cards, email signatures, events, which there aren't any. So it looks like they may be doing some updates to designs. If you need a letterhead, if you're just looking for some social branding for your Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, whatever, you can find those here. Or they also have for virtual meetings if you want to set a Zoom background. For today, though, we're going to take a look at email signatures. Now, when you're in here, you get to decide which one you like the best. I am always a fan of the white one. I just feel like it looks cleaner. That's just a personal preference, so pick whichever one suits you. We're going to hit that use button, and from there, we're going to be brought into the WeBrand editor, so we can go ahead and edit this for our own personal use. So from here, you'll notice on the left-hand side, you have images, text, logos, elements, the KWLS, animation, and support. Now, also one thing to pay attention to when you're in those is that once you're under images, you also have add, stock, workspace, and assets. So add is if you need to upload a photo yourself. Stock is those Keller Williams assets that we reviewed. Same for workspace, that's going to be their different stock images. Every once in a while, you'll get a little pop-up guiding you through. And then we also have my assets. So the first thing we're going to take a look at, since we're in the images, is replacing our photo. So for today, to replace that photo very easily in the exact little square that it's in, we're going to click on that image, and then we're going to hover over whichever image we want to use. Once we do that, if we click just add, it's going to add that separately. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to hit delete. Instead, I'm going to click on that image and I'm going to use the replace image. So it's 2 arrows and you'll see that it says replace image. By clicking that, it's going to put that picture into that exact same frame that was already there. Now I can still double click on that and adjust it. So if Scott's photo wasn't a perfect square, I could adjust that. So we'll take a look at this one. Whoops, didn't click it right. Now you'll notice mine is not a perfect square, so then I can adjust that. Also, if I put Scott's back, whoops, I keep clicking too quickly. Getting a little click happy. If I replace that, say I wanted to zoom in, I don't want Scott to be so far out, I can also still double click that and adjust it how I want to. Now, once you've adjusted it how you like it, you do have to hit this done button for that to save. You can't just click out of it. So now that I have my photo there, I can also make it bigger if I want to. Again, this is a personal preference kind of thing. We're just going to go over the basics. But once I have the photo how I want it and I'm all done, I can move on to the next thing. So for editing the name, there's a couple ways to do this. You can double click and highlight and change that. Or if we're not wanting to double click, we can just click on it and then we can find our typewriter option at the top. And that will pull open a box for us to then edit that right here. Once I'm done, I go ahead and hit Save Changes, and you'll notice that it has adjusted that. Now, once I've changed the name, I can also change the text if I want to. I can find something in here. I can change the size of it by clicking the different text blocks. I'm going to do the text block. I keep clicking that one. And actually, that just kind of made it really tiny. So we're just going to go over to the size and adjust that here. And you can make it as big or as small as you want. You can also just use the drag options for this to make it bigger if you want to, and then adjust that, how it's sitting. Now, once I've done that, I can go ahead and adjust my license information. If you don't want your license information right there, you can delete it. Edit your text. Now, again, if you're trying to pull in information from your assets that you already created and you click on that, then we hit text and go over to assets. I can then find my various information and just plug it in. However, for something like this, it may be better to just type it because it's going to erase all of that additional text. So I'm going to undo, and I may just want to double click and edit that myself here. So 323, 33, or 323. There we go. And again, you can change font, size, text, etc. If you don't want your email listed or website or your app, you can absolutely remove those things. Keep in mind, this is generally an image inserted into your email, so links are not generally clickable through here. So just keep that in mind. Now, once we're done editing our text how we want it, we can then move over to our logo. Now, as you'll see, it immediately brought me into my assets. I have my folders, and I also have my main one. So I'm going to go into the Woodlands, and then I can select which logo I want. Now I could replace that, and again, it puts it in the exact same box. If you're part of multiple market centers, you can add multiple logos here. I can also add another logo from my computer. We're going to grab the SLM one, and I'm going to go ahead and add that to it as well. Done. Now, once I've done that, I can go ahead and just add this, and then I can move that wherever I'd like it. If I want it down here, or if I want to put them right next to each other, I can just manipulate those however is best for me. Do keep in mind, if you have specific compliance rules where logos need to be certain sizes or anything like that, you may want to check with your office or compliance coordinator to make sure you're all set there. Once you're all done though, editing your email signature and you're happy with how it looks, we can go ahead and then download that. So download, and I'm going to change this over to a PNG or JPEG. I'm going to just go ahead with the PNG. Now, once that's downloaded, you can then go ahead and add that to your email. So we're going to take a look at how we do that real quick so that you guys know how to add that. And to do that, I'm already signed into my KW email, so I'm going to go into settings, and then I'm going to click into see all settings. Now, once I'm in those settings, I'm just going to simply scroll down on this main page. And a lot of people confuse this bottom option with the email signature. So this is actually your vacation responder. So instead, you're going to want to take a look right here where it says signature. Now, if I didn't have one created, it would look like this, and I would just hit create new. I would go ahead and name that and create. So once I've got that, I can then start adding my information here. If you need to add any compliance or links, you can always add those here to show up either before or after your signature. But to go ahead and add that image that we just created, we're going to go to insert and upload. And I'm going to just simply grab that from my downloads. Now, once that's uploaded, you'll notice that it is sitting right here. I can adjust the size to either be small, medium, large, or original size. I always recommend kind of saving it and viewing it in the actual compose of an email to make sure that you like the size and that everything is legible. So we're going to take a look at the large. Now, one last thing that people will tend to forget here is you do want to turn that on. So just creating it is not going to make it start populating. You want to make sure that you put, if you want to use both of these or just one. So if you want the email to show up for new emails, you can select your email signature. If you want it to also show up on any time you're replying or forwarding an email, you can also turn that on here. And then if you want to insert before, you can also select that. Now, once I'm done and I've selected all that, you do want to make sure you hit Save Changes. Now, once I've done that, I can go ahead and hit Compose, and I can see that email signature. Now, as you can see, it's kind of small. It's kind of hard to read. So I'm going to go back and adjust that. So scroll down again. click on the image, and I'm going to go back to original size. Once I've saved that, I can view it again, and you can see it's pretty large at that time. You can adjust it in another platform, or if you like it to be big, you can just leave it alone. Honestly, for me, I'd rather it be too big than to not be legible. So, animation will not work for email signatures because it is an image. So it's not going to be animated. I hope that helps. If you're using it for like social posts or something like that, you can definitely animate it. But because this is a flat image, animation won't work on this specific one. But once we're done with that, we can go back to Connect. Now that I'm done with this and I'm all set and happy with it, I've added it to my email, I can go ahead and hit this done option in the top right. It's going to go ahead and save my design. And as you can see, it immediately is adding that here to my designs. Now keep in mind, your design center might look a little bit different. These are based on designs that you've already created. So if you're brand new and you haven't created anything yet, yours is going to not have anything, whereas mine has 396. Eventually that will generate its thumbnail like the rest of these and have a brief image of that. So if I ever need to come back and update my headshot on my signature, I can easily find that in my command designs and go ahead and edit that photo. Just checking the chat for any extra questions. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at creating a social design for social posting. So something that we would just post on our Facebook or Instagram or something like that. As you can see, this time it brought me straight into templates. So that's what it usually does. I'm not sure why I didn't earlier, but anyways, back to our various different categories. So you can pick whichever one you're creating something for. Even if it's holiday, they have various ones based on the month. So you can find some for, you want to make sure you're using one for this year if it has a date. But other than that, some of them are just very generic and you can kind of just use them no matter what year it is. But for today's, we're not going to look at a holiday post. We're going to actually just take a look at an open house. So open house is going to be under listing and then open house. Now, again, if you don't like any of these, by all means, find one under just sold that you like or for sale. If there's something different that you like about those, feel free to use those. But we're going to take a look at open house. And once we're in open house, you'll notice at the top, it has different sizes. So depending what you're creating a design for, you may want to select that first. If you're creating door hangers to go put out, you can select that and find the right one. Or if you're doing just a social post. If you're doing a social post that may go on multiple platforms, I generally recommend the square. The reason for that being is that it works the best for multiple platforms, whereas the wide may not work as well for multiples. So if you're posting something to both Facebook and Instagram, square is going to be the best. Just to Facebook, it doesn't really matter. But I generally tend to lean towards the square. Once I have that, I can go ahead and find the one that I like and hit use. Now, once we're in use, it's the same kind of editor. So it's always going to be the same no matter what design you're working in. But then you can then start editing those various things. So for the background photo, if we're doing an open house for a specific house that we have listed, or if we're just doing one for somebody in the office, we can hit the KWLS and we can actually search for that listing right here. We generally recommend using the MLS number. It's going to give you the fastest results because keep in mind, this is pulling from every MLS. So it's going to pull addresses that may not be exactly the same, but that have a similar name or number. So using the MLS number is going to be the quickest way to find your listing. You can also use listing agent, co-listing agent. Again, could pull someone else. So the easiest way is just using that MLS number. I do not have a MLS number handy, so I'm just going to type in an address and see what we find. And we're just going to grab one. We're going to go with this 627 Main Street, and I'm going to select that. And as you'll notice, it's going to start pulling in all of the MLS information that is in the MLS. As far as from the listing details, I can pull all of that information right here. I can also go ahead and grab those photos. So if I want to replace this one with the actual house, I can use that replace, and it's going to go ahead and put that right there for me. Now, if there's another image that I want to use instead of this one, I can definitely do that. I'm going to undo and just leave the stock image for today's class, but just wanted to show you guys how to do that. Also, if you need to pull in any of the listing details, same way, you can pull it in by using that swap and then adjusting that to where it fits or deleting some of it. Main Street, Main Street, we're going to delete that too. All right, so that is how you go ahead and edit that. Now, open house is super easy graphic. There's not a ton to it. Obviously, you don't want to give people too much because you want them to come visit the open house. So if there's anything else that I wanted to edit on here, I can definitely do that. Say I don't like this design right here. It's kind of throwing me off. I can delete it. I don't mind the one on the right, so I'm going to leave that one alone. One last thing that I like to show, this doesn't have an agent photo. If you wanted to add your agent photo, you can use a frame to do that, or you can simply just add your photo. We'll go ahead and throw Scott's on there. Now I could throw Scott's on there and use it, or I can use a frame. So to access the frames, you have to be clicked on nothing. So if you're clicked on the text, it's not going to show it. But if you click off of that to the side, you'll notice at the top we have drawing, shapes, frames, and text. So for frames, it's going to allow you to pick a specific frame. And what that's going to do is kind of like what we were doing on the email signature. It's going to allow you to put an image straight into that specific shape. So we'll grab the circle, for example. And let's say I wanted to put my photo in the bottom corner with my agent information. I can go ahead and put that frame there. And once I have that, I do need to be in images and go ahead and replace that. And it's going to put my photo in that perfect little square. Now, again, if I need to adjust that, I just double click and adjust and then hit done. And then if I want to go ahead and plug in my agent information, I can do that as well. If I want to pull in my assets, plug in my name. Oh, I added it twice. Delete. As you can see, it's a little hard to read up there, but if I wanted to add it, add my website, office phone number, all of that good stuff, I can add all of that down here and then create my social post that way. Can you remove the background of the headshot agent photo? You're saying like remove this background behind me to make it like white or transparent. You should be able to do that in the remove background. I haven't played around with it too much, but you should be able to do it. At the end, I can try to do that for you. So we'll come back to that since I haven't done it just yet. But once I'm satisfied with this design and I'm ready to put it into my social posts, I can then go ahead and download that and put it into my social posts. If you wanted to add animation here, you definitely could, since this is going to be used for social media. That's up to you. You can kind of do a swing in, and then you can hit play, and it will show you what that looks like. Say I want to do it here as well. I can do, I'll just pick one to rotate in, and then I can play my animation. Now, once I'm done, like I said, and ready to go ahead and use that, I can go ahead and hit this download option. Now, since we're using some animation here, if I download this as a PNG, it's not going to save that animation. So if I want to use the animation, I need to download it as a video or GIF. That will keep my animation for my post, okay? Let me, got someone in the waiting room. So I'm gonna actually download this both ways just so we can see it. So the first one is downloading down here. You do have to wait till it's done downloading to keep going. So it may take a minute. So we downloaded that as a video. Now we're gonna go ahead and also download it as a PNG. And then once we're all set, we can go ahead and hit done. It's going to, again, save that. If I want to come back and use the exact same open house graphic, I can definitely use that for my next open house. But once we're ready and our social post is good to go, we can then go into campaigns and create our social post. So if we're hitting create a campaign, and again, we have another class that goes over campaigns in greater detail, especially the other formats. For today, social post is the one we're going to take a look at. This is not a paid for ad. It's just going to your social media. The way I like to differentiate those two, paid ad is generating new leads, people that you don't know that don't follow you, whereas your social posts are going to be generated towards your followers that you already have. Not necessarily won't get a new lead. It's just, it's already people that follow you or know you. So we'll click that. Now, once we're in there, you'll notice it's going to pull up my business pages. I can select whichever one I want to use. If I want to use Instagram as well, I can click both of them. As you can see on the right, it's going to now show me both previews. Once I've done that, I can go ahead and create my content. So I can add my media. I can browse designs. Sometimes I run into some issues here. So from time to time, I will just upload that. We'll give it a try. It's going to take a minute. Okay, so this may be because the template, the thumbnail hadn't loaded yet. That's okay. I can also browse that and pull it in from my downloads. So from here, you'll notice I have both variations. If I don't know which one, I can always change that to the list. So I can see this is a MP4 and this one is a PNG. Now it may show up here as well. It just wasn't when I was hovering over it. There it goes. So yeah, you can hover over them. It will tell you which is which since they are exactly the same. I'm going to go ahead and select the MP4. And as you can see, it now has that little animation. So add as much animation there as you'd like. If you want it to do more than it's doing, feel free to do that. Again, it's showing both on Facebook and on Instagram. Again, that's the reason I choose the square. It works the best for both platforms. If I want to choose a different file and switch to just that picture, I can do that here. I'm not going to for this specific situation, but wanted to show you guys how you can. I'm going to leave the animation. Now I can also include my text here, whatever I want it to say. Come check out this open house. I'm not going to get too cutesy with this. Just to show you guys, if you want to add in some emojis, let's find house, fill that in. And then from there, if I'm all good, I can select if I want this to post right now or if I want to schedule it out. So I either have publish immediately or schedule, and I can decide when I want that to post based on date and time. Once that's set up, we're just going to do 12 because I'm also going to cancel it. But once I'm all set, I can do schedule post. It's going to show me that preview just one more time with all of the text. You can see it's showing all of it. It's going to say schedule time, and then I can hit schedule. Now from there, I'm brought into my social posts, live and scheduled posts. If I want to go to next week when I scheduled that, you'll see that I can find it here. Excuse me. And I can also edit that and delete that if I want to make changes. You can see though that it's scheduled. So if I want to schedule out a whole week's worth of posts, I can come in here and do that. We're going to go ahead and delete. And that is how you create and schedule a social post. If anyone has any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. We do have some time, so really quickly, I'm going to run through the video. These are super short and simple, so it should not take a lot of time. If you have extra questions, though, feel free to drop those in the chat, and we'll come back to those. When you're creating a video, this is just a short neighborhood video, and I can show you one that is already created. This is one of them that I've created before, going over a specific neighborhood. It does have music. I'm not sure if my sound is set up to play the music for you on the Zoom. So if you can't hear it, it does have some music. But it just goes through the neighborhood details. So you can't really manipulate or edit the graphics of this too much. All you can do is select your neighborhood, and then it will populate all of that information. So we'll take a look really quickly at how to create that by going to create and click video. It's going to have me pull up a neighborhood. So I'm just going to type Orlando, Florida. And we're just going to do Bristol. And once you've picked that, you'll notice that again, most of this information is pulling. You can edit some of this, or you can just select a different neighborhood if you want to. So this is actually pulling some more accurate information. I can change the name, average house price, all of that information if I need to. Neighborhood features, it's going to go ahead and pull those in. I can make sure my agent information is correct. I can plug all of that in. 32322. Market center information as well, and then hit next. Now it's going to go ahead and simply generate that video for me. Again, it's kind of the same video for every neighborhood, so it's pretty short and simple, and it just kind of pulls in that information for you. So now if we were to play that, as you can see, it's only 1 minute long. So I'm gonna let that play for just a second. All right, so short, quick video. Just again, it pulls in all of that information for the specific neighborhood that you're looking at, and then you can save that and download that and use that as a social post as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and download it so that I can pull it in. Oops, and I'm clicking the wrong thing, so 1 second. And I did notice someone asked how to connect Instagram. I did drop an article in the chat for that. Keep in mind, in order for you to connect your Instagram, it does have to be linked to your Facebook account, which the article will go over how to do that. But now if we were to create, we can then find that video. I'm going to hit browse, grab that new one. And then same thing, I can make that quick little Facebook post or Instagram post, or both to share. And it will post that video for whatever neighborhood I'm interested in, or whatever neighborhood I'm trying to advertise in. And then I'm going to hit save draft. And that is pretty much all I have for you guys today. So luckily we were able to cover both email signature and a social design, as well as the video. If you have questions on any of that or anything we covered today, feel free to drop those in the chat. If I need to go back over the logos, please let me know. I can definitely do that. But yeah, that is our class for today. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording so that anyone can drop questions in the chat and we can kind of cover those openly. Again, if you'd like to check out this recording, pause it, go back. You can do that on our YouTube channel. And we also run this class every month. So if you're all done and you don't have any questions, I hope you have a great day.